Please mute your line. Thank you.
What about video? Shall we?
Yes, keep it on, please. Keep it on.
Only mute
Yes.
voice.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I see the number is going up pretty rapidly. Participants number is 91 now. So welcome on board. Thanks very much for coming. Thank you very much for being with us. We do expect over 500 people. So let's sit and wait. The other thing, what's also very important, that we are live now, and this call is being recorded. And as you can see at the top of your screen, live on YouTube. So we are ready to rock the house. Hello, Claudio. Thank you very much. Ciao. Welcome on board. Thank you very much for being with us. So the counter is going up pretty rapidly. We already have 104 people online, so we are going to get started pretty soon. Stay tuned. So again, for those of you who are new to the call, my name is Laszlo. I will be your host today. Welcome on board. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for being with us. This is the Light Up 360, hosted by 5 European chapters. And I will be the host as mentioned. And the reason why I look at the bottom of my screen, because the counter is going up pretty rapidly. We already have 127 people online. We still have 2 minutes to go, so please stay tuned. If you do have any technical difficulties or if you have any questions, please use the chat window at the bottom of your screen. The chat window is there to send us a message. So if you would like to send a message to all panelists, please use the chat window and send a message to all panelists. Unfortunately, I have to monitor 2 different screens. So one screen is in front of me and the other one is next to me. But let me check because there is an incoming message. Marco, hello, ciao. Thank you very much, Marco. Welcome on board. And the counter is going up. 149 and still growing. This is 2 o'clock and I see that the counter is going up pretty rapidly, 168 at the moment, 171 already. So let's give another minute or two to the folks, then we are going to get started. So again, welcome on board. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for being with us. Welcome to the Light Up 360, hosted by 5 European PMI chapters. My name is Laszlo. I will be your host today. And the good news is that the technology works. We do have all our panelists online now. So we are going to get started pretty soon. The only reason why I'm still waiting, because right now my counter shows 188 and altogether over 540 people registered for this event. For your information, this call is being recorded and we are live on our YouTube channel. Now we went over 200. Before we get started, I'd like to share with you a few housekeeping items. As you recognize, we do have a large number of panelists online right now. And right now, there are 206 people watching and listening to this live event. This is a Zoom webinar. So what it means, Zoom webinar, that all your lines are on mute. We cannot hear you, we cannot see you, but you can see us and you can hear us. If you are experiencing any technical difficulties, please be kind enough and use the chat window and send a message to all panelists. If you do have any questions or comments about any of the presentations, please use the QA, the question and answer button at the bottom of your screen. If you like what you are hearing, we welcome the emoticons. So if you would like to send us a round of applause or anything like that, please locate that at the bottom of your screen and you can send us a smiley or a heart or anything like that. Right now, the number is 230. It's keep growing. That's the only reason why I'm still waiting. I'm going to get started 5 minutes past the hour. So 5 minutes past the hour, we are going to kick off this live event. As I mentioned before, I will be your host today. I see Zoltan, you raise your hand. So would you be kind enough, Zoltan, and use the chat window and send me a message? So Zoli, thank you. Hello, Nikki. Thank you very much. And this is just a quick advice to our panelists. Please be kind enough and check the chat window because there are so many incoming messages. Okay, no problem, Zoltan, don't worry. Okay, so guys, if you do have any questions or comments, please use the QA button at the bottom of your screen. This is there for any questions about the presentations. And if you are experiencing any technical difficulties, then please use the chat window. $252. We are going to get started within a second. And hello, Gabriela. Thank you very much. So if you would like to say hello to the panelists, please use the chat window and drop us a quick message. Miroslav, hi there. Thank you very much for coming. Andrea, thank you very much. Nice to be here. Hello, everyone. Sabrina, Andrea. Hello from Italy. Chiara, Giorgio, Nicola, Daniel, Kati. Ákos Horváth from Budapest. Hello, hello, hello. Hello from India. Hello from Milan, Italy. Andras from Budapest, I guess. Good afternoon from Massimo. Brigida, Rita. Wow, the number is going up pretty rapidly and there are so many incoming messages. Hi from Budapest. Nandor is with us. Thank you. Claudio from Italy. Stanislav. Okay. Hello from Croatia. Hello from Italy. Alessandro. Great. So the counter is still going up. Right now we have 261 people online. We are going to get started within a minute, so stay tuned. So very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome on board. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Laszlo. I will be your host today. I'm the president of the PMI Budapest Hungarian chapter. But before we get started, I'd like to share with you a few housekeeping items. If you are experiencing any technical difficulties, please locate the chat button at the bottom of your screen and send us a message. If you would like to send a message to all panelists, please select from the drop-down menu, all panelists, and drop us a message. If you would like to send a message to the people who are watching and listening to this live webinar, please address all these messages to all attendees. The QA button is also located at the bottom of your screen. This is there for any questions you might have, so please be kind enough and use the QA during the presentations if you would like to ask anything from our presenters. So again, welcome to the Light Up 360, and I'm so delighted to welcome Northern Italy, Austria, Croatia, Slovenia, and PMI Budapest Hungarian chapter representatives and speakers. And I'd like to welcome our special guest, whose name is Ashwini Bakshi. He is the Managing Director of PMI Europe. And I invited him 48 hours ago, and he was so kind and he accepted my meeting invitation. So I'd like to hand over the mic to Ashwini, and he would like to say a few words to the audience. Ashwini, over to you.
Thank you, Laszlo. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for having me here, Laszlo. Thank you for the kind invitation. Can I begin by saying what a wonderful name for the event, Light Up 360. I'm aware that this is not the first edition, but in the times that we are in, what could be a more inspiring message to each and every one of us to be a beacon of light to those who need help and to those who need hope? It's been a pretty rough 16, 18 months dealing with the pandemic, a bit of a roller coaster ride as well, but hope begins to emerge. And we're all beginning to think about the aftermath of the pandemic and building back better, a phrase that resonates with me particularly. And I find that a lot of us are thinking about capabilities, old ones that need to be refreshed and new ones which need to be acquired. It is clear that the world is not slowing down anytime soon. The uncertainties and the complexities are going to be with us for a while, and we all need to figure out what are the right ways to address it. Now, capabilities and skill sets are not just individual matters. In fact, I like to say that capability is a red thread that runs right through the individual to the community and the organizations and all the way up to nations and even globally. And in that respect, the initiative that you have here is wonderful. Not only are you reaching out, Laszlo, and the leadership team, connecting close to 500 people today, but hopefully also exchanging ideas, exchanging experiences, learning from each other, and above all, inspiring each other as well. Whatever problems we are going to solve in the future can only be solved together, not individually, not as islands. So I wish you a very good and productive session today. As I settle in, I'm now based in Europe, London. And as I settle in, I look forward to meeting several of you in person, hopefully soon. And above all, I hope that taking lead from the name of the event again, that after this event, all of us will be a beacon of light to those around us. Thank you. Have a great session ahead. Back to you, Laszlo.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate all your kind words. And again, thank you very much for accepting my invitation with with a very short notice again. So thank you very much for being with us. Now, let's get down to the business, because we have a gentleman with us today who's going to tell us a little bit more about the Light Up 360. So I'd like to ask Francesco to take over from me. Then Paolo is going to be the speaker according to my schedule. So Northern Italy, you are up next. Then let me turn the mic over to Dario. Dario, over to you, sir.
Don't worry, Laszlo, I present myself by myself. Thank you very much, Laszlo and PM Hungary team for the great organization, first of all. Thank you, Sweeney, to be here with us. It's an important signal, in my opinion. And thank you, all participants, for the truly massive participation, because about 500 people from 32 countries is an incredible and amazing result. Congratulations, sincere congratulations. I'm here to tell you the story, the genesis of Light Up 360, but I have 10 minutes instead of 6 at my disposal, so I feel a little bit privileged for this opportunity, but not completely coherent with the message, maybe because I'm Italian, but that's another question. Thank you, Laszlo, to consider me some contingency. So my name is Paolo Birsa. I've been working in the field of projects in various roles for more than 20 years, mainly for IBM, soon Kyndryl. And as a PMI volunteer, I was director of Friuli Venezia Giulia region, PMI branch, that is a branch of Northern Italy chapter. I live with my family, with my wife and my twins, near the borderline with Slovenia. My house is about 300 meters from the border. And I've always felt this borderline as, let me say, a limit, more mental than physical, but a limit. What firmly I think is that every barrier can be overcome. When you love to meet your friend, your nice neighbor, you jump over the fence without any effort. And so I did, together with my old friend and director of the branch with me in 2013, Giorgio Bensa. We called Slovenia PMI chapter, our neighbor. Alenka Slabe, that today is a presenter in the competition. And we told something simple like, what's up? Fine, thanks. What do you think if we meet to tell each other how is it going? Great idea, she told us. We have a nice location in Trieste. Okay, we call Croatia friend too. Fantastic, see you tonight. I will take the wine. In this case, we should have Palinka, if I remember well. And it was a really funny, warm, and family-like first event. But talking a little bit more seriously, the initial objective of this project, this event, this as you prefer, was to share ideas about similar society and economy. We talk about initially of Alpe Adria, but obviously this works for the most neighbor countries, in my opinion, to spread project management culture, that is our fil rouge, our profession, our mantra, to acquire new members, obviously, to have more active and motivated members within the chapter, to develop a relationship network, business possibility, to find new opportunities to work and do something together, a sort of thinking globally while acting locally, let me say. Talking about the lighthouse, I've chosen a lighthouse as a symbol, as you can see in the right corner, because with just a flash, it lets route the shipment 360 degrees all around. It's clear in a few seconds, and the shipments are safe and sound. So I think that it's a symbol that condenses the aim of this project, contest, event, as you prefer, that is to share ideas in few seconds, to show new possible routes to follow, obviously, and to discover new opportunities or new harbors for similitude. So we defined a presentation standard to speak easy each other in English, obviously, something really simple with simple and clear rules. So up to 360 seconds for each presentation. At the 6 minutes, you have to stop, just same time for each participant. The same opportunity to have a representative speaker for each chapter. Any format allowed at the beginning, but it's up to you. PowerPoint, speech only, video, as you are able to present your ideas. Possibly not advertising, because there's a natural moment to do this, even if online it's not so simple I understand, but it's better to speak over argument and idea, not of advertising. At the end, an awarding of the 3 best presentations voted by the audience, a little healthy competition to stay together. And the final networking moment, that is, do you remember that the bottle of wine I told you before? It's the right time to open the bottle and to stay with your friend and have fun. Where I talk about think globally and act locally. So the main idea is to provide possibility to each chapter to be the host, to speak about their territory, their ideas, their way to live and to do their businesses. So moving the event from a country to another is a way to break other borders within neighbor countries. So potentially everywhere, and now virtually, each time in a different country, new places, new people, new possibilities. And I hope for we all that next time will be safe in presence in one of our beautiful countries all together to drink that bottle of wine. And since you obviously, since it's an occasion to share about project management, new ideas, to enlarge our networks, to find new opportunities within similar economical tissues and possibility to grow relationship and business and so on, that the actors are you all. Inside the PMI, the chapters, obviously, the mentors, the educational foundation, the project managers, the volunteers, and so on. Outside the PMI, mainly, but not only, small and medium enterprises, professionals, government, local institutions, for example, Chamber of Commerce, and other professional associations. School and university, obviously, because we want them, project managers, as children. And as shown by the success of this meeting, people are the engine of the event, which continue to grow and to be spread all over the world. Then what's next? What we can do better or differently or more in the next event next year, or when we have the possibility to do another one event. The question obviously is for all of us. Today, I think that a great result has been achieved, because 32 countries present is really crazy. But with all these motivated people, I think, I'm sure we could find new opportunities to improve. A possible suggestion, in my opinion, is to create an international team of volunteers to manage and spread the project, to help neighbor countries to adopt this format. Everyone is a neighbor, maybe not Australia, but I think we can count on them the same. Another one is to register a video of the presentation. I think that today is the first time we did this. And to create a YouTube channel, to post them, to share the experience, the ideas, a sort of, let me say, TED Talk. But it's up to you, it's up to your great ideas and your willingness to move on. I think that we have to have in mind two concepts. The first one is that it's important to maintain the will to break down borders and barriers. This is the first time. And the other one is to have always a cross-eyed view with an eye on the local environment, and another one on the global possibilities. So thank you all. Thank you, Laszlo and Hungary chapter. Good luck to all the presenters. May the best win, obviously. But most of all, have fun and stay safe. Thank you again.
Grazie. Thank you very much, Paolo. I really appreciate your quick introduction. I really appreciate that you shared with us a little bit more the background story of the Light Up 360. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are new to the call, my name is Laszlo. I will be your host today, and I would like to call our first keynote speaker. His name is Willy Banco, and I'd like to say a few words about Willy, and I'd like to introduce him. Willy was born in the United States, and then 3 decades ago, he decided that he would like to move over to Hungary. Currently, he declares that he is a businessman, investor, coach, and he was the past president of the American Chamber of Commerce and the founder of Toastmasters Hungary. Currently, he runs his own business, the Rózsakert Medical Center, and he is with us to talk about that the fish was good. I'd like to hand over the mic to Willy. Willy, over to you.
4 years ago, I was invited to the event of which I was convinced this is going to be the best event of the decade. It was a multinational company, 250 people invited, top decision makers from the country, state secretaries, all coming together for 3 hours in one location. After the event took place, we were all fed a wonderful meal. Today, 4 years later, the only thing I remember about that event is that the fish was good. 80,000 euros spent on an event that people don't remember. 80,000 euros spent by people who are important, who are decision makers, and don't feel like they have to make the effort to make the event memorable. Whether we like it or not, online presentations are here to stay. And in a strange sort of way, they will take whatever we have and they will make it a part of history unlike we've ever experienced before. Because if you don't do a good job in presenting and getting your audience engaged and excited, that will be recorded for your grandchildren. I don't want that to be the impression my grandchildren have of me 10 or 15 years from now. A lot of people don't like to present, including these gentlemen, state secretaries. They got a job, they accept the pay, but they don't want to put in the effort. So what can we do to ensure that if somebody asks about our next presentation, that there's a really good chance that people will remember what we said? After all, if what we're saying is not worth remembering, then it's not worth saying. People will tell you that you need to concentrate on storytelling. Storytelling is the answer. Sign up for a public speaking class and they will tell you, learn to be a good storyteller. But what does it mean to be a good storyteller? Because it is important, it is one way that I can transfer emotions, pictures, ideas, and feelings. Often we don't want to take the time to find that right story. I have a friend here in Budapest, and if she buys a birthday present for my kids, I know well before that present is ever opened up that it will be amazing because she put the time and effort into hand choosing the right toy, the right message for the right person. I admit it's not easy. Sometimes we feel like what we have to share, I'm smart, I'm an engineer, it's complicated, I can't simplify it. And they don't even try. 3 years ago, I was contacted by the deputy CEO of the UniCredit Bank. Every year, the bank here holds a UniCredit Day where everyone who's a C-level member of the management team needs to get up on stage and in front of 1,500 people, they need to hold a presentation. Alex contacted me because he was terrified. The 1,500 people on the one side or on one end of it is the CEO, and on the other end is the person who buys toilet paper for the bank branches. So a wide range of knowledge and experience. And Alex's responsibility is to tell everybody, the 1,500 people, what IT does. Think about that. You're the head of IT for a huge bank. How do you put your message together? What kind of story do you share that elegantly transfers what IT does? We talked about it and I said, Alex, if you get up on stage and you tell the people that we are really important, that will be true and offensive. So Alex, our responsibility, our challenge is we need to figure out a way, we need to find that one right story that we can put this message on the back of. And when you get out there, as you share the story, the significance of what IT does and what you do becomes clear as a sunny day, and it also becomes memorable. The way to do that is to find something that isn't stuck as a story in the industry that I'm trying to represent or talk about, but it's close enough that when I first hear the story, I'm shocked a little bit, thinking, what in the world is the connection between what he is talking, in his case, what he is talking about, and what ultimately he needs to communicate? We worked on it and we found the right story for Alex. When Alex got on stage in front of the 1,500 people, he put a picture of the moon out on the screen as his first displayed slide. People at a banking conference were taken by, what in the world is a picture of the moon doing here in this event? And Alex starts off by asking a question. He says, when did man first step out on the moon? And many of the people had their hands in the air and they knew the answer and they were willing to share. It was 1969. Now Alex was working to engage him and he said, wonderful. He waited a little bit. Then came the second question. Who was the first person to step out on the moon? Once again, hands went in the air and people were ready to answer. It was Neil, not the bicycle guy, Neil Armstrong. And people had this look of satisfaction on their face. I knew the answer. Alex posed a third question. Who was the second person who stepped out on the moon? Less hands went up, but there still were some very eager individuals to share. It was Buzz Aldrin. Absolutely correct. And there was this look of satisfaction on Alex's face as he felt that he had connected with the audience and they were involved and they knew the answers. And then he hit him with the final question. What was the name of the astronaut who made the trip all the way to the moon, but was never allowed to leave the command module, without whom there is no moon landing, without whom there is no walking on the moon, but who is just as responsible for the success that Neil and Buzz Aldrin enjoyed in front of the world? And then Alex became quiet. As he looked for hands to go up in the group with the 1,500 people, most people were scratching their head. They had no idea that there was even a third astronaut. And that's the moment that he was looking for. He flipped the slide and it displayed a picture of Michael Collins, the person who made it possible for the other two astronauts to write their name in history, to be remembered by people throughout the world, but who didn't become one of them. And then he paused again and he said, we are the Collins department in the bank. Ask yourself for a moment, if you're in that audience and the message of our department is important needs to come across, and it is delivered inside a story like this, who can make that bold statement for you, whether or not that will be remembered. 10 minutes later, after Alex left the stage, the CEO walked out, and from that moment until the end of that day, every time he needed to refer to or mention the IT department, he called it the Collins department. A year later, 1 year later at the next event, everybody in the management group referred to IT as the Collins department. I share that story because using the moon landing in a banking setting is sufficiently different to sort of hang out. And because it doesn't really fit there upon first glance, it becomes significantly easier to remember. And because it's a little strange in that setting, people will remember it. And so when they say as advice to use a story, true. But spend the time and effort to find that exactly perfect story that will deliver the message in a lasting way. In Philadelphia, a psychology class did a test in a coffee shop. On Tuesday, people who bought a cup of coffee were given a coupon usable on Thursday that would give them 20% off on the coffee that they bought on Thursday. Half the people were told to just remember that when you go to pay for your cup of coffee on Thursday, make sure you pull that coupon out and present it to get 20% off. The other half, or 50%, was told that when you get to the cash register on Thursday, there will be a green alien sitting next to the cash register. And when you see the alien, reach for the coupon and turn it in for 20% off. And then on Thursday, they showed up to see who and at what rate they were able to remember to use their coupon. And the group that was looking for the green alien figure far exceeded the number of people who were just supposed to, from their memory, remember to use their coupon. Little bit strange, goes a long way. I was asked to work with a university professor at the Technical University in Budapest. He had spent 20 years in Germany, was coming back. He had to give a presentation to his fellow professors, and he had to share with them what his work was about. Smart guy. I'm not a smart guy, but I was willing to work with him. It was Friday afternoon. We got together. He gave me his 30-minute presentation, and I took notes and filled 1 page and 2 page, and I filled 5 pages of notes in 30 minutes. And then when we were done, I said, look, I've taken a lot of notes. I heard what you said. I saw what you said. Your presentation is on Tuesday. I'm not going to give you 5 pages worth of tips. I will give you 3 tips. Tip number 1, you need to get excited about your topic. And he looked at me, a distinguished professor with multiple decades of experience. And his answer was, I can't get excited about my topic. And then I looked at him, I said, Joseph, I understand. Then let me rewrite my second tip. The new second tip is call them and cancel your presentation on Tuesday. Because if you're not excited about your topic, then it would be silly to expect the audience, it would be silly to expect me to figure out that this is where I need to get excited, even though my presenter, who understands this much better than I do, is not showing the emotions. Now, I know it's difficult, and I know sometimes in Europe we wrestle with this. Can I, should I? The answer is absolutely, because everything we do, from building businesses to building dreams to selling our visions, has an element of excitement associated with it. And I want people, when they see me and they see my topic, I want them to sense that excitement. And as we go forward with having to do more online presentations and more presentations, if our career ends up taking us upward, we owe it to our audience that we don't leave it in their hands, that they need to figure it out on their own. I need to prompt them that this is exciting. You need to pay attention here. So I grab their attention with a story that's just a little bit off base. Throughout my presentation, I ensure that there are ups and downs emotionally, that they get excited. And then I can slow it down a little bit if I want them to get to a point where they need to think about what I'm sharing. But I put it in there and I make it easy for them to follow. These are prompts that a speaker uses to engage his listeners. If we go to a new movie, a Hollywood movie, before it ever shows up in the movie theater, they will have played it at a private viewing. And when the people were watching the movie, they will have a camera on the pupil of the eye of the watcher. And if they don't get the pupil reaction at that square or that frame that they expected, they rework the frame. Because they know what they want at that particular moment. We owe it to our audience. And then something that we undervalue and going forward need to begin to value in its right place is, no matter how good your story is and no matter how excited you can be about your topic, you absolutely need to be prepared. I know countless of people who have much more significant degrees than I do. And they feel like that is enough. But when I get up to speak to any audience, whether it's online or in person, I am handing every single person a biological business card, and I am persuading you to what kind of an expectation you should have the next time you see my name on the speaking agenda. That doesn't happen by accident. Just like when Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong stepped out on the surface of the moon, they didn't throw their hands in the air and say, "Oh my goodness, how did we get here?" A wonderful presentation with a lasting message also doesn't happen by accident. Just because you have a title, just because you have authority, doesn't give you the right or the ability to leave out the building blocks needed to create a lasting and valuable memory and an impression. I'm thankful 4 years ago that all I remember is the fish was good, because it taught me a lesson. You can be important and forgotten. I don't want to be forgotten, and I hope you don't either. Laszlo?
Thank you very much, Willie. It was a wonderful presentation, a very, very good example for an impactful presentation. We just received a question. And the question is, what was the third tip?
Preparation.
Preparation. Thank you very much.
No winging it. Story out of place, excitement, and preparation.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Willie. I really appreciate it. This story does resonates with me because I worked for an IT company for 13 years. We've been struggling for quite some time because this was always very, very difficult to explain to the folks what we are doing and why we are important and things like that. And I really like your Collins department example. So again, Billy, thank you very much. Let me check my other screen for a second because probably there are many other questions. Okay, so Miklos is saying, William, exciting, brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Alberto is saying, great presentation and great meaning. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, there is another question. Willy, could you do me a favor, please? Can you check the chat window because there are so many incoming questions for you? And the next one is coming from Nikki. As an American, can I ask, is excitement a predominantly American thing?
Yes. It's a cultural thing.
Okay, thank you very much. Last but not least, Maria is saying, great presentation. Thank you, memorable presentation. Bravo comes from Lela. Hi, Lela. Thanks very much for coming. Thanks very much for being with us. Again, Willy, thank you very much. I really appreciate wonderful presentation. If you don't mind, I'd like to move on and I'd like to ask Faiz and Claudia, please be kind enough and switch on your webcam. Thank you very much. I'm calling Mr. Faiz Tuma. Faiz, please switch on your webcam.
Well, I trying here.
I switch on your webcam now.
Right.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask the first Light Up 360 presenter, Claudia, to talk about something very exciting this afternoon. But before we do that, I'm going to ask Faiz from Austria to tell us a little bit more about Claudia. Faiz, over to you.
Thank you, Laszlo. Can you hear me? Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure that I introduce Claudia Oberdorfer-Herzi to be the presenter from the Austria chapter. Claudia is my VP, Vice President in the Austria chapter, has more than 20 years experience in project management, and she has two passions, cats and project management. And with that, I hand you to Claudia. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Faiz. So, Claudia, are you ready?
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see your presentation. We can hear you loud and clear. When you are ready, I'm ready.
Okay, go. Ready.
The clock is ticking now.
Thank you. Yeah. Do you remember how it all began? In Austria in March 2020, the first lockdown was declared. This nasty virus turned our lives around and led to a paradigm shift also in our way of working. We are still dealing with the impacts and the side effects. It was a kind of a roller coaster ride, and it still is. Let me tell you how it was for me. Home office has some advantages. You can sleep longer, don't have to put makeup on or dress fancy. But I realized that I was sitting in front of the PC longer than usual, started working through without breaks, having back-to-back meetings. Then the back pain started and the headaches. I was starting to feel exhausted in week 3. Unhealthy routines started to kick in. Staying up longer, sitting in front of the PC in pajamas. And no, I'm not wearing my pajamas today. Ordering takeout and gulping it down between meetings. Do you maybe recognize any habits? Well, I thought, how long can I cope with it? Claudia, you have to get a grip. But I was not alone. I work as a project manager in a large program where the team members sit in 3 countries. Virtual collaboration was known to us, but we had to change and adapt our work furthermore and be more creative. And now let me tell you what we did. You also need to relax sometime, come down a bit and have fun. Meet with co-workers and do not speak about work. But how? We organized a Fun Friday or Fun Fridays, where team members and families of team members could join via Microsoft Teams. And this was 1 hour fun with a quiz. Then informal gatherings were organized. Virtual regular coffee breaks were put in our diaries. People could join if they wanted to, drink a coffee and talk about daily stuff, about the weather, hobbies, work, cats. Then we organized gin and tonic calls after work. Instead of going to the pub together, we met virtually and had a drink and a laugh and a talk. When the measures were lightened a bit, some colleagues met for social distancing walks with a takeaway coffee. And we also had to remember the meeting etiquette and the meeting rules. These are more important than ever, especially if you want to include everyone on the call. Do you remember my backache? Well, as a first measure, I've bought a home office chair online. In the project, we had a meeting with an expert regarding on how to cope with new ways of working. Some of these tips were no-brainers, but if you're stuck in an unhealthy routine, it's not easy to get out. These were the tips. Eat a balanced diet and sit down for it and take your time for eating. Stay hydrated, get some fresh air, move, take exercises, boost your immune system, take vitamins or eat fruit or take supplements, and sleep enough and stop drinking too much coffee or energy drinks. And we organized online sessions where everyone in the project could join, 30 minutes of guided exercises so people are moving and exercising. And it took a bit of time for people to adapt for the purely virtual world. First, we did everything a project manager would do, regular update calls, risk list mitigation measures, you name it, we did it. Trying out and using virtual meeting spaces for project workshops with up to 60 people worked really nice. Virtual meetings for inspections with our customers using webcams or digital classes. Virtual buddy scheme for new joiners was intensified. Meeting-free Fridays to catch up with our work. And project lunch break meetings were put in our diaries to stop people from booking meetings over lunchtime. In the end, as a project manager, you are responsible to care for your team members, but also for yourself. We are not superheroes. Yes, we have to wear masks, but we are still humans without superpowers after all. To stay resilient, you have to take care for yourself. Try to sense where your boundaries are, physically, mentally, or physically. There is no shame in looking for help during these times. Set physical boundaries, remove your working equipment after work, especially if you're sitting at the dining table. Listen to yourself and find out what is good for you. And remember, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow, just in time, Claudia.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Exactly 6 minutes. Wow, how did you do that? Excellent presentation. I love your story. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to admit something. I think I never met Claudia before in person. I think this is the second time that we see each other. But quite frankly, your story is my story.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned back pain and headache. To be honest with you, I have been working from home since 16th of March 2020.
Me too.
Over a year.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, the biggest struggle for me was headache, all the time headache, because I couldn't leave my house. And you also mentioned home office chair. I really like this because, quite frankly, for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, I was sitting in a pretty comfortable dining chair. But you know, a dining chair is not really designed for sitting on it for 8-10 hours in front of
It
a
isn't.
computer. So I did some shopping. I went to IKEA. I spent quite some time and money looking for a good chair. Finally, I did some shopping. I bundled the chair. Everything was okay. And after 2 weeks, it turned out that this is not really comfortable. So your story does resonate with me. I really appreciate that. And thanks very much. And I think the other thing is also very important, what you mentioned, that we are human beings and we are not superheroes.
We are.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to ask any questions you might have. So please be kind enough and do not use the chat window for your questions, but please go to the QA button at the bottom of your screen. And if you have any questions or comments to Claudia, then please be kind enough and send us the question through the QA channel. I'm monitoring the QA channel right now. I see so many messages coming in through the chat window, although the chat window is there for private messages only. So let me check something. Thank you, Claudia. Amazing presentation. Thank you for the kind comments. Thank you, Claudia. I'm still working from home more than 14 months already. Yes, that's why I'm saying this is your story is my story, because we are in the same situation. Okay, what else? Great of you.
One Q&A I'm seeing from Francesca asking.
I see.
Yes, what are you taking with you when back in the office after so much time in smart working? I don't know exactly what is meant by smart working, but I think you mean the hybrid meetings and the home office work. What I take with me is that it's important to make breaks, to get up every hour or so to move around and then get some fresh air, open the window, get some fresh air and move around, because I was really stopping doing that. And I was getting crazy and sitting 12 hours in front of the PC. And this is really important, moving around and just walk maybe to the kitchen, get a coffee or a glass of water and sit back then. After every hour, you should at least do that. Yes, that's one thing. And
excellent.
Talk to your colleagues, call them and try to see how they are. Yeah.
Excellent advice. Thank you very much. Let me check the QA button at the bottom of my screen. If there are no further questions and comments, then I have to say, Claudia, wonderful presentation. Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much for the preparation. Then please stay with us, because the next speaker is coming, and the next speaker will be Nikša Pivac from PMI Zagreb, Croatia chapter. And if I'm honest with you, I saw Vesna. Can you hear us, Vesna?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can see you and I can hear you. Excellent. Let me ask Nikša to start his video. I'm going to start his video now. Nikša?
Everything is okay?
Okay,
Hello.
So thank you very much. So the next in alphabetical order is Croatia. So Austria started the line, and now Croatia is next up. And Vesna is going to introduce Nikša, and Nikša is going to be the presenter from the Zagreb chapter. Over to you, Vesna.
Thank you, Laszlo. So hello, everybody. It is my pleasure to announce my colleague, Nikša Pivac, who is the member of the PMI Croatia board and also PMI Dalmatia branch leader. Nikša has a lot of experience in different roles, from leading projects, leading programs, leading project office, leading development and test teams, but his personal motto is, once a project manager, always a project manager. So I would say we have a great candidate for today, and it is really my pleasure that Nikša will represent our chapter today. And lastly, if you allow me, I would like to use this opportunity to, let's say, announce, if the epidemiological situation will allow us, that we plan to have a second Light Up this year, live, if it will be possible, in Croatia, and Nikša will be the main organizer or project manager of that event. So Niksha, please, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. I can't go back now.
Thank you very much for the intro. So something is coming up on my screen. Please share your presentation, put it in. Excellent. Are you
Can you
ready?
see it? Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
then wait for a
You
second.
can go. Yeah.
Okay, just a second. The clock is ticking.
Thank you. So yeah, quickly, I want to thank you as an organizer, to our Vesna, who warmly introduced me, and as well to Willie as a keynote speaker, because I think with his story he challenged all of us to quit today presentation in the last moment or to continue, because we need to be excited and we need to give the value to it today. So still I will be persistent and continue, to go on. So I have a privilege to present you Humanitarian Initiative that we within the PMI Croatia realized beginning of this year. So let's see what's all about. We are a small country, but we are proud and we are well known in many areas, like being a top tourist destination, being having many contributors, and as well, great sports results. In this story, which I'm going to present you today, being a leader is really sarcastic, because at the end of the last year, lockdown, winter time, when terrible corona is terrorizing us still, and the last year as well, you can always expect that Murphy law will be in place. So, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And that's what happened. So if you can see here, in the period of 10 days from Christmas Day up to beginning of January, we have 12 earthquakes in Croatia larger than 3 degrees of Richter. And shockingly, on the day of 29th of December, very poor area close to our capital Zagreb was hit heavily by earthquake that was declared as heavily damaging to destructive. In the end, resulted with 7 fatalities and quite destroyed environment. So after initial disaster, initial and chaos, shock and agony, we all felt, and we did something for whatever, for a friend, colleague, for our relatives, because we are a small country, so at least somebody who has been hit by the disaster. So as well, we did the same within PMI chapter Croatia. We said we need to do something, and in the end, our result was to donate something as much as possible to the high school in Petrinja, a small city 50 kilometers away from our capital Zagreb. So that's a kind of relates as well to the nature of PMI, who supports continuous education and learning as actually basic foundation for each individual growth and development. So what was the challenge for me today? I think for us as a senior project managers, it was not a problem to deliver this initiative, to organize donation and deliver to the high school. However, for today's presentation, we want to present this initiative, but I need somehow to correlate this initiative retroactively with project management methodology. What I've found once, or what I found on some seminars, that speaker was telling us many times that we are all bad at predicting, but always good at retrospective rationalizing. So the same I did now. So I did some kind of retroactive analysis, and I pointed a couple of learnings out of this initiative that has some connection with project management. Not some, but quite a lot of connection always you can find between practice and between theory when project managers are working some initiatives. So first of all, I think it's famous simple triangle, but I see this triangle of scope, time, and budget, which is valid for every project, for every junior project managers or senior project managers. Scope, budget, and time. Scope and requirements were very clear and simple for us. For us, it was a task to donate to the high school while learning seminars as much as possible within a very short time frame. So roughly, it was 4 weeks. And naturally, we said, okay, we don't want to spend, some money. We didn't have money, so the budget was on disposal, zero, but we have high motivation and the goodwill definitely to do it. So with this idea, we managed to secure 2 very eminent and proficient experts who immediately accepted this initiative. And each of these 2 speakers in the end held in a 2 days, 4-hour session in the area that is really also connected with today's chaotic world. So it was about neuro-linguistic programming and handling stress, trauma, and corona. So of course, the results were tangible in the money we donated and intangible in the feeling of all of us who contributed and help at least with some small step to these people who were really badly affected. Secondly, what were the success factors? What is always the success factor of each project? Firstly, the most important is for everybody, for a project, for organization, for an individual. If you know why I do something, that is much easier to proceed, to define how you will do it and what you will do it. So all about people, and all the people who were involved, from us in the PMI, from the participants in these sessions, from the teachers, we are all motivated and engaged to complete this initiative. So we cooperated and collaborated in quite efficient and honest way, and executed very speedily in a couple of weeks time frame. The last, not the least, I tried to just pull out this Kainavin framework. Kainavin is a Welsh word for habitat. And I think this is valid for each type of the project, or in general for every situation. So according to the framework, which is complex, so I need to give just a highlight, is there are 4 types of situational leaderships. And this framework helps you to identify how you perceive certain situation, and how you can understand your own and people around you, how they behave in certain situations. So mapping on this case, for example, people who were affected, and the area who were affected by the earthquake, they were in the chaos. And according to the model, the chaos asks to act, not to think, to analyze, but to act, to fail, and then act again, because you must not be in the same position. You must not be passive. Earthquake as a chaos is can similar to events are also war or fires or reorganization, and they require act. Secondly, we as an organizer, we were definitely not in the chaos. We were in complicated situation, so we applied best practice. We have experiences, and we delivered this initiative. We, in the end, donated to the high school money.
Great. Unfortunately, your time is up, Niksha.
Yeah, sorry.
So I apologize, but according to the ground rules, what we agreed before, you have 360 seconds. So if you want, I can give you 5 seconds extra. Please finish your sentence, the last sentence.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. If I inspire you with this story, I want you, if you want for these kids to have a normal education, normal life, you are more than welcome to donate as well to the school who needs to be back to its shine. Yeah. Thank you, and sorry for the being off the track.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Niksha. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Again, we have 326 people online watching and listening to this presentation. So there is one question. So Niksha, I would really appreciate if you would look at the QA section, and there is an incoming question for you, and it's all about the PMBOK guy.
I would not say it's a PMBOK guide. PMBOK guide also, states agility. So I think if you look on the initiative that we delivered, there was a charter in the background, and there was a teamwork to deliver this as a project. It was a unique activity. So I would say we have a limited time, and the scope, it was very clear.
I see. Okay. What was the biggest challenge what your team was facing during this project?
What was the challenge? I would say you need to balance between the timing that you had and the amount or the donation you want to realize to these people, because we want to do it as soon as possible, and that's in the conflict with the amount of the donation you are able to deliver in the short time frame.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let me check the questions. Do we have any other question? Okay, there is another question coming from Andrea. So more a task force rather than a project, I believe. Yeah, I think we can agree on that, Andrea. Okay, thanks very much for the comment. Wonderful presentation, Niksha. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for all the energy and enthusiasm. And last but not least, I'd like to say thank you very much for being the next host for the Light Up 360 sometime in Q3, Q4 2021. I'd like to meet you guys in Croatia, probably at the seaside. Let's carry on, and I'd like to call another gentleman whose name is the Lazy Project Manager. So, Lazy Project Manager, are you with us?
I am, and hopefully you can
Hello, Peter. Welcome on board. Thanks very much for coming. Thanks very much for accepting my invitation for this Light Up 360, hosted by 5 PMI European chapters. Peter Taylor, also known as the Lazy Project Manager, accepted our invitation, and today he's going to talk about artificial intelligence and project management. The Lazy Project Manager, Peter Taylor, is a keynote speaker, trainer, and consultant. And for those of you who know Peter, I can guarantee that he is going to deliver a wonderful presentation about artificial intelligence and project management. Peter, over to you.
Thank you very much. Brilliant. Yes, AI and project management. As Willie said, I mean, you've got to be passionate and excited about a subject, and I am truly passionate about this. But I want to share some thoughts around AI and project management, to get what it's going to do to our profession, what you need to be prepared for, and some of the work that we need to do to take true advantage of this opportunity. And I've only got 20 minutes to do it. So let's move on. Thank you for the introduction, Laszlo. I've just put in the chat, anybody who wants to connect to me, link to me, etc., find out more, go and see that. I won't waste time on any of that stuff. But this is huge, isn't it? Just look at this right now. The Google are saying AI is one of the most important things humanity is working on right now. Well, it doesn't get any bigger than that, does it? One of the most important things humanity is working on. Gartner said 2.3 million jobs with $2.9 trillion in business value will be created as a result of artificial intelligence. Forbes said AI is going to have the unique ability to monitor patterns, blah, blah, blah. But the outcome of this was saving time by up to 50%. Incredible, incredible impact. Now, this is all well and good, but it's going to change things. I mean, you can't just say it's a positive across the board. It isn't. This one, I mean, just dwell on this one right now. All of you project managers in all these countries, by 2030, Gartner said this in a fascinating article, how AI will reinvent program and portfolio management. Definitely check it out, have a read. What Gartner said, that by 2030, 80% of the work of today's project managers, the project management discipline, will be eliminated as AI takes on functions such as data collection, tracking, and reporting. 80% of what you do today will be done by AI, and probably done better. I'm sorry, that's the reality. AI doesn't tire, it doesn't miss things, it doesn't get exhausted, it gets overwhelmed, doesn't get consumed by human interactions or complexities or anything like that. It is in some ways a cold, heartless creation, but it's also very, very efficient in what it's going to do. And by 2030, 80% of what you do today is going to be eliminated, removed, gone. You will not do it anymore. It's 2021 already. It's not even the start of 2021. So we're talking about 8 years maximum here, if Gartner are right. And I believe they are. But we kind of have to make a decision. I'm going to make you guys out there as sort of judge and jury on this. It's up to you to make up your mind around this. You know, is AI a good thing? Is AI a bad thing? Well, let me give you two stories to start with. And I know there's clearly a theme in these presentations. There's a fish involved in my presentation as well, by pure coincidence. On the left-hand side, you see this is the UK, the British Patent Office. This is the place where people who have designs or inventions come along and they register it, they put it forward to the Patent Office. It's validated to make sure there's no conflict or there's already a patent or a copyright or anything like that out there. And this organisation, the UK one, is quite possibly the oldest patent office in the world. So it's been doing this for a long, long time. Already there has been a case raised by the Patent Office where someone has tried to register an invention that was created by artificial intelligence. It's called the Dabers case. Again, quite a fascinating read. But what was this? The outcome of this was the fact that the Patent Office said, no, actually, at this point in time, artificial intelligence cannot invent anything because there are humans behind it that are making it, working it, guiding it, etc. So on this basis, the Patent Office said, no, you cannot have an invention that is purely created by AI. Okay. But the other thing they said was, right, we need to be ready because this will come. This change will come. And so right now in the Patent Office and the government, etc., they are looking at this about what constitutes true invention through AI, through artificial intelligence. So AI potentially is hyper smart. It's going to start creating and inventing things eventually. On the other hand, on the right-hand side there's a wonderful TED talk by a lady called Janelle Shane. And Janelle did some work around AI, and she's got a TED talk around AI is weird, which again is definitely worth checking and watching out for. What this particular AI program, based on the pictorial data it was given to look at, came up with the conclusion that fish have fingers. Fish have fingers, and the reason it came up with this, is you can probably work out yourself, is the vast majority of images out there in the world of data, all of the, the World Wide Web of wonderment, the majority of images of fish are pictures of fish, often with fishermen holding them, great catch, that kind of thing, or fishermen handling fish in some way. And as a result of this, AI fell short, if you like, of true intelligence because it concluded that fish have fingers. So there we have kind of the two competing worlds or two competing views of artificial intelligence. On one hand, the Patent Office is getting ready for something that is inevitably going to come. And on the other hand, right now, AI is a little bit stupid in some areas. Now, give me a personal story. I want you to meet Robbie, the automated robo-vac. Robbie has been living in our house for a while now. In fact, Robbie is right down next to me here. It's currently sleeping and recharging. Robbie is brilliant. We kind of love Robbie because Robbie comes around and actually vacuums a house for us when we're asleep. It wakes up around about 5 o'clock in the morning and off it goes. And it is powered by a degree of AI. It's designed to learn the landscape of the rooms and the different textures of carpets and wooden flooring, etc. Very clever. I can control it by my mobile phone. I can ask it to clean certain rooms. I can ask it to clean one room just around the edges, or I can just make it do a very random clean across the entire house. Now, Robbie can't go upstairs, obviously, but Robbie is intelligent enough not to fall downstairs when I carry him upstairs to do the top floor. Brilliant. However, Robbie isn't necessarily that smart. We've had a couple of circumstances right now, and as you can see on the left there, this is Robbie after he attempted to, because when the power drops, I know he's been cleaning for a while, Robbie attempts to redock on his docking station to recharge. And what Robbie did on this particular day was he got it wrong, and he's attempted to eat his own power cord, which was a lot of fun trying to disentangle that. That was his first mistake. His second mistake was on the right-hand side there. So my good lady, she likes to knit. And on this particular occasion, she didn't clear up a knitting before we went to bed that night. And Robbie attempted to eat the knitting, and Robbie got in some serious trouble as a result of that. I won't even go into the details of the morning we woke up to find that one of the cats had been rather ill during the night, and Robbie had attempted to clean it up. That's not a pleasant story. My point here is the fact that Robbie is clever, but it's not clever enough right now to deal with all of the things that can happen in life. If you think about the evolution of AI in project management, typically, if you look at anything, and this one is from PwC's AI will transform project management. Are you ready? People talk about these 4 categories of AI, and this is just one. This is what's known as narrow AI. I mean, there are two other, if you like, categories of AI beyond this. But just for our world, think about these 4 components, phases, levels. We'll talk about how you will really, but what it's saying is that integration and automation. This is something that's out there. It's something that exists. You may well actually already have some technology in your organizations that is looking or using integration and automation. This is kind of the area where it might be around tracking progress or state of tasks, something like that. That's a kind of entry-level AI, if you like, in the world of project management. The next level is the chatbot assistance. This is your little AI-powered project assistant that can do stuff for you, like setting up meetings, taking minutes, organizing sort of smaller level tasks, etc. Again, quite useful, but not at the highest level. The really interesting stuff starts around the machine learning-based project management, because this is where it's going to get into the world of predictive analytics. This is where it's going to get into the world of, attempting to anticipate what is likely to happen based on the data that it's got already. Very exciting area. And this is really where the major progress is going to take place. I mean, the 4th category is the autonomous project manager. This is the, I guess, the Terminator fear that some people have. I mean, we are so far off this, it's not even worth talking about. Autonomous project management is way, way into the future. But integration, automation, chatbots, machine learning, it's all there. I'm working with a couple of companies right now in this area, and it is a fascinating topic. But I think I'm going to give you kind of three particular concerns or warnings or things we need to care about a lot. First one is this, we have to be ready for AI. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to my Robbie the RoboVac. We have had to make some changes in order for that RoboVac, that AI-driven device, to perform effectively, like not leaving knitting on the floor, that kind of thing. And in the world of project management, the big question is, and I'm not being negative about this at all, I'm really not. I'm passionately excited about AI. In fact, I've just finished writing a book on AI and project management that will be out later this year. But we have to be ready. And some of the fear I'm hearing from project managers out there I think is driven by the fact they're just not prepared. And how do you get prepared for this? Well, we still have work to do in our profession. We're not perfect. We're not even close to perfect in what we do. We achieve amazing things, astonishing things in some of the projects that we have, but we are not totally perfect or close enough to perfect, really, to necessarily just slip into AI and power project management right now. We have work to be done. We have efforts to be put in place to improve things. And I think as a result of that, then it is very much around about, is this fear on the grounds that we don't know enough? Is it fear because we might be exposed in what we do? Is it fear in the fact that they might just take over? The last one isn't true. I mean, I don't believe that. Yes, I said earlier on, I liked and I support the Gartner statement. 80% of what you do, what you and you do in project management will be done by AI by 2030. No doubts about that. It will happen. But it will allow us to do many other things that we really should be doing. And I'll be honest, between you and me, that stuff that AI is going to do, I didn't enjoy it when I was a project manager. It was boring, repetitive, draining, tiring. Oh, goodness me. If somebody can take over and deal with all that stuff, brilliant, as far as I'm concerned. So the first thing, my first concern really, or my first ask of you is almost about, get prepared. This is 20 minutes to talk about a massive topic that's going to impact your world enormously in the coming years. Talk about it, read about it, engage in it. There is just so much interesting, exciting stuff out there. There really, really is. The second thing is, and we know this, you know this, come on, bad data everywhere. Yeah, we do an amazing job, we survive, but the reality is we do it on top. In so many cases, we do it on top of bad data. And the one thing AI needs is good data. I mean, you know about the autonomous vehicles. You probably read some of the stories of the problems they have. Yeah, just imagine if you've got a self-driving car that's trying to navigate with an out-of-date map when there's new roadworks put up there, or they've changed the layout, or they put a new freeway, highway, motorway in it crosses a lane or whatever, something like that. It would be a disaster. And the same is true of project management. If we don't solve the issue of bad data, we will get bad AI effectively. That's the reality. Now, AI is brilliant and clever, and it doesn't necessarily need as much data as you might think, but it does need that data to be solid and reliable. And I know, I consult into a number of organizations, and it's very quick that you get to the point of the fact that they have multiple systems, there's repetition, there's manual input, there's Excel databases, Access database, there's data all over the place, and nobody's quite sure what is perfect about it. The reality is that we need to crack this. We need to solve this in order to truly optimize on artificial intelligence. And the third one is this. We as project managers, what we do is lead people. That's what we do. We lead people. It's all about that kind of leadership, that kind of management of people, that kind of drawing people in to have that common goal and common purpose, to be passionate about the project they're part of. We need all of that to actually happen in order to be successful. And therefore, AI isn't going to necessarily play in this area particularly strongly. There is some areas, and I'm working with an organization which is all about project team performance analytics, for example, and the dynamics of the project team, the kind of sentiment of everybody trying to optimize the output, the whole forming, storming, norming, performing. How can you maintain that performing level? So there is a part to play, but it's not a major part, because at the end of the day, it's going to be about people. Mark Lemon, the actual primary author of that quote, or that document I talked about earlier on, said in the midst of all this evolution, and it's more of an evolution than a revolution. I mean, it's not going to suddenly take place overnight and be radically different, but it's going to evolve at a very rapid pace. In the midst of this evolution, it's important to remember that AI cannot do something. And the one thing AI cannot do is be human. That's you. That's you and you and you, human. So let me just summarize in the short time I've had to talk about this. AI is here to stay. I mean, just seriously, it's here to stay. It's not going away. It will significantly change your role as a project manager. Don't fight it. Resistance is useless. It really is. Don't fight it. Embrace it. Find out about it. Learn about it. Gather insight. You talk about it. Run sessions like this. Contact. I'm happy to talk about AI and project management anytime. Bring me into your chapter meetings and stuff like that. Fantastic, because AI will aid project managers in so many ways, and we touched on the process automation, chatbots, machine learning, and eventually into autonomous project management world, possibly. I don't know. Perhaps not in my career. Look, at the heart of this is projects are and always have been about people. Projects have always been about people, and so that isn't going to change. When I started in project management, when I began my career, I didn't know anything about what I referred to as the mechanics of project management. I hadn't been on a training course. It was many years before I was put on a training course to understand what project management was about. And it was wonderfully useful. So how did I survive? How did I exist in any way successfully in the world of project management without that? Well, I lent on my natural skills, if you like, and it was the soft skills, it was the people skills, it was the communication skills, it was the negotiation skills, it was the connection to people, the ability to draw people together into a temporary community, a temporary team, to deliver something of benefit to the organization. As I said, when I learned the mechanics, that was brilliant, absolutely was, and it certainly added value to me. But if AI is going to come in and take over that 80%, that is, in all honesty, and you can argue with me, you might do, I suppose, I thought it was boring part of project management. It's going to let you work and spend that time working with people. And when you have an incredibly effective and efficient team of people working on a project, they can pretty much overcome anything. They can deal with any challenge. They can be incredibly successful. AI cannot be human. AI cannot be human. So be an amazing human project manager in the AI empowered world and enjoy what is coming towards you. Thank you very much. This is all of my details there. Do connect with me on LinkedIn. As I said, resistance is useless. I've enjoyed being a lazy project manager for many years, but I am totally excited and passionate around artificial intelligence, AI, and what it is going to do for the profession that I've known for so many years. So please don't resist it, embrace it, learn about it, and let's talk some more. Laszlo, thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. It was a wonderful presentation again. Laszlo has some issues, so let me ask you, can you look at the Q&A panel? And
I can do. I need to put my glasses on.
We have several questions. Okay.
90% of what a project manager does is communicating. So how will AI eliminate 80% of the work? I mean, yes, I think it will. It will anticipate. It will manage that communication in a different ways. I think you will expand the communication that you're doing in a different direction. I think most project managers struggle with, I don't have the time to talk to my team members. I don't have time to connect and validate the communication. So that's how I think. Robbie, no, we won't. Let's not talk about Robbie and the cat. No, we're not going to talk about that. Get rid of that one, Victor. Really, it wasn't pleasant. 80% of PM tasks eliminated by AI. What about leadership, motivation, team members, guidance, governance? Yeah, but you know, if I talk to a lot of project managers a lot of the time, and what I hear is they're dragged down by reports and running analytics and assessing things and communicating what they feel is in many ways a waste of time across the organization. I think, leadership, it's a category, isn't it? What sits below this is people skills, people management, people leadership, people communication. And that's where the switch is going to come across. Estimates of how many new jobs will be created due to AI, which are not necessarily programming jobs, just PMs can start to think about or plan to retrain. I don't know. I mean, there is stuff out there. Obviously that one you saw, I can't remember which one it was now, said about the 2.3 million jobs out there. The result of it is some jobs will be lost, absolutely. But I don't think it's going to be in the area of project management in the sense. I think if you have evolved as a project manager and you've got to that point where you embrace and build on AI, then I think you're going to be fine. I think if you just sit with your blinkers on and not looking at it and ignoring it and saying it won't come, I think it will surprise you one day and then you're going to be in real trouble. What's the remaining 20%? It is people skills. It's all about people leadership. It's about people to team performance. It's about putting your time in. It's about being a great leader. It's about having that visibility of purpose, all of those things. Okay. Can I give a practical example of autonomous project management? No, because it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I mean, that literally is that there is a non-sentient being that is doing the job of a project manager right now. And that just doesn't exist. I mean, Terminator is a very negative image, of course, but it's possible in the future that it will manage minor projects, smaller, simple, functional projects that are kind of almost repetitive. But again, it's not there yet. A non-human team wouldn't require a human project manager at all, would it? Well, that's not a project. It's not no, it wouldn't, but it's not going to help in project management, I don't believe. Good thing to debate, though. AI is a way of augmenting our intelligence as humans versus artificial. Yeah, I mean, there's so many flavors. As I said, I had 20 minutes and I tried to cram an awful lot into that. There's augmenting, there's the kind of supporting guidance, there's the kind of artificial intelligence that is supplementing some of the tasks you're doing. There's a lot to it. And, I would love to come back and talk at great length on this. Don't you think at the end of the day, AI will be naturally used by OMs as it happened in the past decades for very supporting tool? It will, yes, it will naturally. I mean, but it's one of those things. It's a bit of a seismic shift. It's not a gradual thing, I don't think, and that's why I think people need to be ready for it. They need to prepare themselves for it and embrace it. And organizations need to do it. PMOs need to do it. I'm working a PMO right now, and that's one of the aspects we're looking at is what is AI going to bring to the party, if you like, to make things better and be more successful. And the last one from Nikki, predominantly white collar male involvement in its development, doesn't it further enforce the importance of diversity in the creation of our algorithms, etc. I'm not even sure that's absolutely true, Nikki. I mean, I've read a number of documents and articles that are not white collar male led, etc. I think, you know, a couple of the main speakers out there, and I mentioned Janelle Shane, for example, are females. So I hope that isn't the case. I haven't seen it. I hope that isn't the case. And, you know, we need to be completely open and diverse and all the rest of it. So an interesting topic as well, probably another one that's worth looking at.
Okay, so thank you, Peter, for the answers. And if you have any other, I think you should connect with Peter. I think you will answer all the questions in writing later if you had any questions.
Okay, cool.
Thank you again. It was a wonderful presentation.
My pleasure.
So we have 10 minutes coffee break in the schedule. So now it's 15:32. So let's continue on 42. So 10 minutes coffee break for everyone. Thank you for your attention. We'll be back.
So much of interior design can seem daunting.
you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. Need some guidance from above. 'Cause right now people have me questioning, where is the love? The love, can I be continuation? Where is the love? The love is what you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. Where is the love? The love, questioning. Overseas, yeah, we're trying to stop the terrorism.
Welcome back, everybody. We continue with our next speaker from Hungary, Mr. Tamás Kozák. Tamás, are you with us? Okay, a quick introduction. Tamás has more than 15 years experience of corporate and project management, mainly in business and organizational development. Currently, such as associate professor with university research projects. So, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so the clock is ticking from now.
Thank you very much, Victor. First of all, I would like a little bit slightly plagiarize and using Peter's quotations who mentioned in his presentation that if you are not prepared, it's not pressure, you feel it's fear quote. In my presentation, I would like to give you a short and brief perception. What's the role of the project management in the project management era, Industry 4.0? In my presentations, I organized my perception in three parts. In the first part, I would like to give you the overview of the fourth industrial revolution. Of course, it's very briefly. In the second, presenting the main transformative factors of the new model of project management. And in the third one is provided a picture of the implications and the new challenge of the disruptive technologies, let's call of project management 4.0. As you can see, I collected the main attributes, of course, the main attributes of the fourth industrial revolution. And the fourth industrial revolution, no underway, connect people, things, digital technologies, including, of course, the artificial intelligence. The Internet of Things, in which the inanimate, the not alive items communicate with human and one another, enable the new mode and open the new channels in communications. It's very, very important feature of the Industry 4.0, is the merge of the physical, the digital, the biological technologies. All three deeply are interrelated and benefit from one another. So in the research, it's made a few years ago, organized by the Singularity University. There were identified those drivers which influence the business mode of the future organization, of course, including the project organizations, and then examined how these attributes determined, influence the development of the future project management. In the presented model, it's used the acronym SCALE to reflect the 5 external attributes and the acronym IDEAS for the 5 internal attributes. This depicted picture represents the metaphor how we use the 2 hemispheres of the brain, that the right brain manages the creativity and the uncertainty, and the left brain focuses mainly on the order control and the stability. Scale. Here you can find the component of the scale. For example, what does be the staff on demand in the information-enabled business area, such as project management. In future, the large internal staffs, it seems unnecessary. This is not a good news. Community is made up of core team members and the new stakeholders, the crowd, which can be thought of everyone outside the core stakeholders. Crowd, as I mentioned, this is the new type of the stakeholders. Let's think, for example, the crowdfunding. There are 2 types of the algorithm, as Peter mentioned, at the frontier of the new world, the machine learning and the deep learning. Machine learning enables perform the new task, build for the historic data. The deep learning allows to discover the new pattern without being exported to any historical data. This algorithm could be used for example, in risk management. It's a new approach, but I believe that we will use this. Recently, there is an accelerating trend towards the outsourcing, even mission critical assets. It could be common practice to shift from the balance sheet of the company or the books of the projects. And this requires perhaps absolutely new approach in purchase management. Engagement includes, for example, eliciting the positive rather than negative emotion to drive the behavior of stakeholders. This is a new approach in the stakeholder management. What about ideas? The interface or matching process from the externalities to the internal control frameworks in terms of algorithms and automated workflows influencing the communication. Given the huge amount of data available, project managers need a new way using the dashboard method to measure and manage the project in real time. Experimentation, which is an implementation, a well-known lean startup approach, helps the project managers eliminate the wasteful process. For example, project managers reach the needs of the customers and conduct the experiment to see and to check that the proposed product match these needs. The digitized workplace-based social technologies are comprised, for example, activity streams, task management, virtual work, facilitating the new approach of the human research management. And finally, what's the main implication of the disruptive technology in project management? Disruptive technologies are...
Sorry, Tamás, I have to stop you.
Okay.
Your time is up. We are waiting for the questions. Use the Q&A panel if you have any questions to Tamás. We have 6 more minutes for these questions and answers. So, Tamás, if there's any question to you, you can highlight anything from your presentation or go deeper in some details. Tomasz, what do you think is the main message of this presentation to the audience?
The main message was the implication of these new technologies, these disruptive technologies becoming ubiquitous and integrated into the daily project management activities in conjunction with the artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things. The digital innovation is accelerating the pace of change of the project management method. This is my message, what related to the implication of project management. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a question. Does knowledge will be a key asset of PMI 4.0?
Does knowledge will be key of the PMI 4.0? Partly yes, partly yes. If you think the agile project management, agile methods, several manners, several modes, several tools, that's very close to this new approaches, new word.
Okay, there's another question we have.
Shorter life cycle project risk to make difficult to make great and long period results. In my opinion, that the span of the project management it will be short. And of course, I am speaking about the business project and not the space technology project. The customizations, it will be the king. Therefore, if the project management, different project management would like to competitive with each other, because the project managers also sometimes need to compete with each other, the time and the flexibility, which will be the main competitive drivers.
Thank you for the answer. And Tomasz, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Our next presenter is from Northern Italy. He's Dario Morandotti. And I would like to ask Francesco to introduce Dario. Are you here, both of you?
Yep, here we go.
Okay, here I am.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from my side. I'm really super happy to be with you today and to introduce Dario Morandotti, the speaker that will be representing the Northern Italy chapter today. Dario has a background in engineering and business administration. He has worked in several industries, leading projects, innovative projects. He is passionate about exploring and experimenting and innovation. And so I want to stop here and wish you to enjoy the presentation. Dario, the stage is yours.
Okay, can you hear me and can you see my screen well?
Yes, thank you. And
okay,
now
so
the presentation is good as well. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
So the clock is ticking from now.
Okay, hello to everyone. This is Dario Morandotti speaking from Milan, Italy. My topic of today is the impact of artificial intelligence on project management practice, and particularly on the project manager role. So there will be 6 slides, 6 minutes, and 6 predictions. More than prediction, there will be some insight. As we know, predictions are rarely 100% true, and often they are also false, but they give some good insight on the future and favor critical thinking. So this is what I want to share with you today. Those predictions are based on my own experiences in using some of the artificial intelligence tool both in executing and managing projects. I'm a little bit more on a manufacturing industry side guy. So I will take some example on this by this industry where I use it a few years ago, some excerpt system, and more recently, some data extraction and elaboration for maintenance prediction. So the first point is the knowledge is the foundation. How can I get rid of this? So otherwise I'm not seeing. Okay. The knowledge management, the know-how, the accumulation of know-how it will become more important and favored by three factors. One is the availability of data. The second one is more computing power. And the third one, more clear and intelligent algorithm, whether they will be from expert system, from machine learning, or from other AI tool that will allow to accumulate more knowledge to be used in what is the next point. So first of all, process automation, something that we already are seeing now, that's been mentioned before, by the way. So small tasks and even more complex tasks will be automated and will relieve the project manager from certain repetitive work. The other aspect on how to use know-how is through option analysis, option presentation, investigation, and data-driven decision-making. This is something that is still at the beginning. From the experience that I had in the past, we tried to extract from as I was at an energy turbine and power plant manufacturer, we tried to extract data from a backlog of more than 100 projects to see what were the common pattern, what we can suggest to project managers ongoing. That was an experiment, of course, was partially successful, partially we failed because the data were not totally available, but was an interesting example. Based on the improvement offered by what we've seen before, one was more on effectiveness and the other was more on efficiency. What we can imagine, the third point, is the portfolio is more dynamic, and this is happening also now. So I've seen recently projects split and merge and adapt, and portfolio reconfiguration will become more and more common as strategy and internal and external condition change. So maybe the slide is more interesting for everyone and will attract the attention. In this context, where we have I demand that the portfolio to deliver value, and in some way the execution will be more under automatic control under certain limits. So what will be the project manager role? And I think that we are already seeing the shift from an executor more to a changer, the one that will help in defining the way of working, will define how to use the artificial intelligence algorithms. Then will stay, of course, as the leader to orchestrate the course and the facilitator of the extended team. In some way, it's it goes back to the recent PMI motto of the one that helps to turn ideas into reality. So at the end of the story, the combined 5 points you say so before they will impact certainly the target setting, so there will be higher target as well the way of working. So we can expect great result both in innovation of the content of the project, in the outcome, and in execution performance. Very interestingly, and this is my last statement, we can deal and address with a more ambitious project and overall liberate creativity of the team members. And that's all on my side.
Thank you, Dario. You are just in time. Perfect. So we are waiting for the questions in the Q&A panel. But I see a question in the chat window. So how can you estimate the AI influence to the PM processes?
Oh yes, I certainly like the idea of introducing the idea of a context leader, context servant leader. As we know already, projects are not alone. They always are in a context. So the understanding and the transformation of the content is absolutely essential. And moreover, and that is my personal imagination and prediction, the project manager will become more and more a portfolio expert, because it will shift the ideas, initiatives, activities from one project to another, following what we can imagine is a highly dynamic environment. So reading the environment, reading the context is certainly one of the skills of the future.
Thank you. We have another question. We can say that project manager's role turns from task manager to context leader.
I think it was already answered.
All right. So, do you have other questions to Dario? If not, I thank you, Dario, very much for your presentation. It was excellent.
Ciao to everyone.
We move forward for our next presenter. She's Alenka Slabe from PMI Slovenia, Ljubljana chapter. Are you here with us?
Yes, here I am.
And I think Uroš will introduce you. Uroš, are you with us?
Yes, that is correct, Victor.
Okay.
Okay. Save the best for last. Let me introduce Alenka Slabe with 20 plus years experience in project management. Lately, she is developing the business and leadership skills of teams and managers on practical training and coaching sessions. She loves to share her international and cross-industry experience for you to excel in efficiency and productivity. And we appreciate Alenka's contribution as a proactive member of PMI Slovenia. Alenka, over to you.
Thank you.
I'll wait for your presentation.
Can you see my presentation now?
Yeah, it's perfect. Are you ready?
Yes, almost. Just a second. Everything is set.
Can we go now?
You can hear the picture and the presentation.
Yes, loud
Okay.
and clear.
Just a second to set my alarm. Something wrong. Okay. I'm ready now.
Okay, so
Sorry,
the clock
I apologize. This is Laszlo again. Alenka, would you be kind enough and switch on your webcam?
To switch on.
On. Start video.
Okay.
Bottom left corner, start video.
Is it okay now?
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Before was only my photo, not.
Yes. Okay, if you are ready, the clock is ticking from now.
Today's projects, particularly in IT sector, could be very complex and difficult to manage because of a huge pressure that causes stress for PMs. Fortunately, we have simple and yet effective tools to manage this situation. Hi, my name is Alenka and welcome to the session of Emotional Intelligence Tools for Successful Projects. It's not working. It's not working.
Let's stop the clock.
I can't move the slide.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's stop the clock, Victor, please.
Yes, I can't share.
Yeah.
We
Start
do it again.
Yes, please. Thank
Perhaps
you.
because I changed the photo.
Yeah, could be.
I changed the video.
No problem. So share your screen again, please.
I'm sharing the screen.
Coming through.
And let me check now to test. Okay.
Yep. Looks good.
Okay.
Let's get started again. So Victor is going to rewind the clock.
Yes. If you can start, you can start now.
Just a second. Let me reset my timer as well. Okay. Start.
Okay.
Today's project Yes? Particularly in IT sector could be very complex and difficult to manage, especially because of huge pressure that causes stress for PMs. On the other hand, we are fortunate enough to have simple and yet effective tools to manage this situation. Hello, my name is Alenka, and welcome to the session of Emotional Intelligence Tools for Successful Projects. So, the big why, just a second. So, yeah, the big why for introducing emotional intelligence is because we can improve communication, relationship, and overall success of the project. For the start, we are going to define emotional intelligence, or EI, also known as emotional quotient, or EQ, as ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions. So emotional intelligence consists of 5 attributes. Let's have a look of each of them. So first one is self-assessment, that could be defined as having the ability to recognize your own emotions and also understand their impact on others. The second attribute is self-regulation. This involves controlling or redirecting our disruptive emotions and adapting to changed circumstances. Empathy and compassion is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and also to understand how they may feel or react to the certain situation. Relationship management is the ability to build and maintain healthy and productive relationships. And the last, effective communication is the foundation of successful projects. So let's look at 3 practical EI tools through my PM story. It was in the beginning of my PM career. I was very excited to work on activities, plans, schedules. So it took me almost a year to realize that project management is not about processes and tasks. It's all about managing people. At the end of the second year, I became so overwhelmed with the project work that I was completely stressed out. It all ended up with enormous burnout and 5 months of sick leave. So during recovery period, I had a lot of time to think what I'm going to do next. So I had 3 options: to continue the same way and risk to fall sick again, to change my career, or to change the way I work. So I decided for the third option. And the first EI tool that I came across was about learning styles. The question is, what is the best way to communicate with the team? So I found out that there are 3 different learning styles: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So visual learners prefer information presented in a visual format. They want to see what they're learning. So you can recognize a visual learner by saying, let me draw you a diagram for what I mean. Another type of learners are auditory. They prefer discussions. They want to hear what they're learning. They might say, let's discuss this so we will be in tune. The third are kinesthetic learners who learn by doing and feeling. They prefer hands-on experience. They might say, let's walk through the steps for doing this. So the solution is that we need to communicate and present information in all 3 ways to accommodate different learning styles. So the second EI tool is participative management style. My previous approach was to do the project planning and monitoring all by myself, and my meetings were conducted only in auditory mode by explaining the plan and reporting on status. There are 2 problems with this approach. First, I didn't address the visual and kinesthetic learners, and second, since I've done all the thinking and hard work for the team, the learning process was not there. So I changed the approach that the project team participated in creating the project plan. And the result was that they understood the plan, they own it, and when it comes to execution, the team members had a huge interest in making sure that the project stays on track. And now the third EI tool is one-on-one meeting. So on these meetings, you get to know about the problems and issues of which people do not want to talk about in a group. So what you get from the regular one-on meeting is a valuable information about the project that is well worth the time you spend. So your takeaway from this presentation is customize your reports and presentation to all three learning styles to ensure effective communication, use participative management style to engage people in the project, and execute regular one-on-one meetings to learn about the vital information on the project and build great relationships. So you use your head to do your research, body to understand and adjust, and heart to be passionate about it and believe it, you can do it. Thank you.
Wow. The only thing what I can say, wow. Thank you. I think you really listened to Willy Benko because you came across pretty passionate. So thank you very much. I'm back again now, guys. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties with my line, but everything is up and running now. So let's look at the Q&A panel. First of all, there is a message, a personal message. Tiziano is saying, Alenka, excellent personal story applied. Yes, I really liked it. There's another coming in through the chat window. Great presentation. Thank you for your personal story. Excellent, excellent. Okay, to be honest with you, I have to be very objective. So each and every presentation is my favorite presentation. So I cannot say whether I like your presentation better than the other. But obviously, we are human beings, and we do have certain pet projects or certain topics. And quite frankly, coaching is very close to my heart because, as you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation, being a project manager, being a PM means that you are really a people manager because most of the time you are dealing with difficult, stakeholders and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your personal experience? What was the most difficult situation you have ever experienced in your career when you were managing a project team?
Yeah, that people react differently than machines. It's not. That's why I started to learn with the first year already that it's not about the code. When something doesn't work in IT, you go and fix the code. I'm not an IT expert. I'm just an economist with marketing background. But I know that this can be fixable with an easy code. I mean, with a code. Mm-hmm. And the machine will listen to you, but people are not like that. Some days are up, some days are down. Sometimes they're cooperating, sometimes they are not. So you have to be genius in order to figure out in what shoes they are. So the best way for me was these one-on-one meetings where I found out motivators that drive the particular individual to do the job or not to do the job. What were the triggers? What were the impulses that they needed? So that was the something that over the years you master it if you have eyes and ears opened, especially ears and eyes to see the body language, because it's very hard to control the body language. Even if you speak differently, it won't correspond to it. So it's almost impossible, even if you are heavily trained, that you can hide that what is body revealing in the mind of someone.
Thank you very much. Okay, there is a comment. I would really appreciate if you could look at the QA panel.
Yes.
There is a comment coming from Nikki.
Integrated into our day-to-day.
I think it's a fair comment.
It's more a comment, not a question. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's a fair point, I guess. So
are the most important
that's
to
true.
implement? Which of these three components? I believe you can't do one without another. Like, for instance, if you want to communicate effectively, you need to respect three different learning styles and combine your approaches in one presentation in order that the entire team will processes adequately and take in the information. So you have to be very creative. And I heard in these presentations that what EI doesn't have, it's creativity, it's that humanity. So we need to explore our creativity and be as leaders, be as a good example for others to support them to open up and explore and develop their own creativity. I believe even in developers as such, they could explore their side of creativity, even though it's not they're not very strong in that usually.
All right. And last but not least, there is another question coming from Marco. How does top management react to your participative management style? So what is your experience?
Okay, so if you show that you care about their interest and you present that at the very beginning of the project and you found out what actually matters to them, the participative style of involving them in key decision making over the project, they will make them to feel important. So every person will be glad to get such a feeling, and they will subconsciously react positively and show the interest for being part of it.
Okay,
not only the team members, but also sponsors, especially sponsors, because they're the key of the success of the project, and other stakeholders that matter. So you, as a PM, at the very beginning, you need to find out what motivates who, and
Excellent.
what are their triggers, what are their motives to be there.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And the last question. So the last question comes from Yashna. What has changed most for you personally as a result of changing the way you work? So what has changed most for you personally as a result of changing the way you work?
Yes, my personal experience and experiences of others, especially when they were dramatic and tragical, that turns your world around. You know, your personal experience being shaken and shook, you know, and broken, and then you pick up your pieces and you stand up and you go ahead. You know, you don't give up. Actually,
I think
that's
this
what
is
made me to.
This is a very important, very important comment. Thank you very much, Alenka. Wonderful presentation. Thank you again. Please stop sharing your screen now.
Okay, stop sharing.
And I'd like to ask all presenters to switch on their webcams. So 5 presenters from the 5 participating chapters, please turn on your webcam, because the moment of truth is coming. So we have a gentleman, his name is Dario from Italy. We have Tamás from Hungary, Claudia from Austria, Alenka from Slovenia, and Nikša from Croatia. Now, but before we open the polls for the audience, I'd like to share with you guys a few other things. So we are pretty much on time, only 2 minutes over the time. So first of all, I would like to say thank you very much for Northern Italy. Thank you very much for PMI Austria, Slovenia, Croatia, and Hungary for supporting this wonderful 360 live event. We do have at the moment 272 people online, so this is really a great number here. What I would like to share with you that each and every participating chapter offers some great prizes. And we are going to find out pretty quickly who's going to win the first place, because the first place is going to be voted by the participants, so the people who are watching and listening to this Light Up 360. So the winner is going to get an Art of Projects conference ticket from the PMI Budapest Hungarian chapter. The Art of Projects conference is the largest English-speaking project management conference hosted by a PMI chapter in Central Europe. This is organized by PMI Budapest Hungarian chapter. This is going to take place on the 4th of November 2021. This year, Victor is going to be the program director, and obviously everybody knows that first Thursday of the November month, this is the International Project Management Day. So the best speaker is going to get an Art of Projects conference ticket. The best speaker is also going to get a masterclass ticket. The masterclass is going to take place on the 5th of November 2021. This is a half-day long session. This year is going to be hosted by a UK professional speaker. And again, this is going to go to the best speaker. And last but not least, the best speaker is going to get a PMI book from the PMI bookstore, sponsored by the PMI Budapest Hungarian chapter. And the Citizen Developer book from the PMI bookstore goes to the runner-up, the first runner-up. Northern Italy was kind enough to offer a token of appreciation. So the Citizen Developer book from the PMI bookstore goes to the second place. Special package of products made in Croatia and some PMI Croatia gadgets like Bluetooth speakers, headsets, things like that. It goes to the third place. It comes from PMI Croatia. A box of Manner Viennese goodies. It comes from Austria. It goes to the fourth place. And hoodie, a PMI logo hoodie, goes to the fifth place. So these are the wonderful gifts what we are going to receive from the participating chapters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask your help because many of you are with us in the last 2 hours, and I'm going to open a poll. I'm going to ask you to pick your favorite speaker, okay? I'm going to give you 2 minutes, so please be kind enough and pick your favorite speaker. I'm launching the poll now, so the poll is live now. Go ahead, please. Great numbers are coming in already. 59, 60, 67, 70, 78, 80, 89, 90, nearly 100 people already voted. We do have 265 people online, already 128, 137. A quick question to our panelists, guys. Do you see the poll? Okay, do you see the numbers?
No.
You don't see the numbers, so I'm the only one who can see the numbers. Oh, 155. Yeah. So, guys, if you liked Claudia's presentation, vote for her. Niksha was the second, or Tamás, or Dario, or Alenka. So go ahead, push the button now. 166 people already cast their vote. 169. I'm going to give you another minute because the numbers are growing up very rapidly. So 171 people, 74. We do have 261 people online, so please go ahead and push the button. Uh-oh, this is going to be head-to-head. All right. This is just like Formula One. Ferrari and probably the McLaren, they are racing against each other. Excellent. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So 20 seconds to go. 181 people already pushed the button. So go ahead. You do have 15 seconds. 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. 182 people. Let me stop the poll. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited to announce the winner of the 360 hosted by PMI Budapest Hungarian chapter and brought to you by PMI Northern Italy, PMI Austria, PMI Croatia, and PMI Slovenia. Most of the time when you are watching the television, there is a drum in the background, some excitement coming up, and so on and so on. And the winner is Can you see the screen, guys? So the winner with 30%, Alenka Slabe, Emotional Intelligence. Alenka, congratulations. So you are the one who's going to get a free ticket for the Art of Projects conference. So thank you very much. Wonderful. Okay, the second runner-up, Claudia from Austria. So Claudia, you are going to get the Citizen Developer book from the PMI bookstore. It comes from Northern Italy chapter. Congratulations, well done. Who is the third? The third here is Dario Morandotti. Dario, congratulations, well done, good job. You are going to get a special package of products made in Croatia and some PMI Croatia gadgets. Excellent. And the number 4 is Tamás Kozák from Hungary. Tamás, congratulations, well done. This is the best prize, probably. A box of Manor Viennese goodies. I love it. So congratulations. And last but not least, a hoodie. PMI logo hoodie goes to Niksha Pivats. So guys, congratulations, well done. I really appreciate all your time and effort, and I would like to say thank you very much. Okay, so let me stop sharing the results because there are some housekeeping items because we still have 258 people online. And many people asked me, what about the PDUs, Laszlo? So the good news is, as I mentioned before and as we communicated before, this is a PDU eligible event. And 24 hours after this event, you are going to get an auto notification from our Zoom platform and you are going to receive the PDU claim code. If you provided your PMI ID during the registration, then it means I can download everything from the Zoom platform. I can upload everything to the PMI CCRS system, and I can give you the PDU points. We will see how it works. I do hope it works. In this case, you don't need to do anything. So if you see that there is an incoming message, then please do not submit second time the PDU request to PMI. And last but not least, what's also very important, as soon as you leave this live event, there is going to be a questionnaire which is going to ask you how you felt about this event. So please be honest with us and let us know what went well, what went wrong, what needs to be done differently. And last but not least, I'd like to say thank you very much to Austria, Croatia, Northern Italy, Croatia, Slovenia, and PMI Budapest Hungarian chapter representatives. Thank you very much to Peter Taylor, the Lazy Project Manager, Vili Benko. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate this. And I do hope I can meet you in person sometime in Croatia, probably in Q3 or Q4. This was a wonderful afternoon. And again, I wish you a wonderful day. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
See you in Budapest.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Austria.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Croatia.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Italy.
Congrats to everybody, speakers.
Yes, thank you a lot for your hard work and organizing such a great event.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
And thank you very much for all the speakers. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Great job, Laszlo. We don't want to go.
Okay,
Oh,
I will. We still have 130 people online and they can hear us. So I will set up a separate follow-up session. Aniko is going to reach out to you guys and we are going to agree how you're going to get your wonderful gift.
Yeah.
Okay, have a
Lessons
wonderful
learned.
day.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Viktor, itt vagy?
Igen.
No. Anikó?
Igen.
Jó. Még itt vannak velünk 91-en, egy másodperc türelmet kérek.
Jó.
Át kell mennem a másik számítógépemre. Jó, akkor szolgálati közlemény. Annyit kérek, hogy légy szíves, hogy egy follow-up meetinget szervezzél meg, és akkor ott megbeszélünk mindent. Nagyon szépen köszönöm a munkátokat, további szép estét, sziasztok!
Köszi, sziasztok!
Köszi szépen, sziasztok!